Joining us live is former Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem and Israel's Foreign Ministry Special Fleur Hassan-Nahoum. Fleur, happy Hanukkah to you. And as we just heard in that report, the festivities will be muted. First of all, how are you doing today?
Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Jerusalem is quiet. Jerusalem has always been quiet in this war. We've become a city of refuge, actually, but nobody's really celebrating with a full heart here. We're all in pain, and it's quite right. Your report was quite right. Everybody's hoping and praying for the hostages to come home. And at the moment, it seems like the bloc is on the side of Hamas, as it has been for the last 6 months, who refused to provide a list of the living hostages. That's the latest that we've been hearing.
And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu mentioned a couple of days ago, we believe, that action and progress is underway regarding a ceasefire. However, we are hearing that there are more delays. So is that what you're hearing in terms of providing the assistance there with Gaza? What are you hearing in terms of wanting more delay?
So it's always very easy for people to blame the Prime Minister for the fact that there's no deal. As we heard previously with Gershon Baskin, who was on your report. But honestly, if Hamas would have wanted a deal, there would have been a deal by now. The latest that we're hearing of the stalling of the deal, the negotiators in Israel do have a mandate to close a deal. I think that most of the goals of this war have been achieved in Gaza. You have a muchly diminished leadership there. You have a diminished infrastructure. Israel has found where all the 800 kilometers of tunnels are, more or less. And so at the moment, it's simply that Hamas refused to say how many living hostages they have and who they are. That's the problem. So how can Israel make a deal with people who are not telling you or showing you what they have to offer you? That's really the problem.
Also, just reading these reports online, Hamas, pardon me, are saying that the ceasefire is delayed due to new conditions by Israel, and also reports that Benjamin Netanyahu blamed Hamas of going back on existing understandings. Would you agree to that?
Absolutely. Look, we're dealing with, first of all, I think many Western countries will say you shouldn't negotiate with terrorists. We're over that because we know that we need to negotiate with these terrorists to get our hostages home. And so for the last 8 months, every time we've been close to a deal, Hamas have been the ones that have blocked that deal. And it's not us saying it, it's not the Prime Minister saying it, it's Antony Blinken saying it, but it's always been Hamas who have blocked the deal. So I'm not sure what conditions they say. Israel's conditions have been clear all along. We want the dismantlement of the leadership, and we'll stop the war. We're willing to trade the 100 hostages that we have left for 1,000 Palestinian prisoners, terrorists with blood on their hands. And we are willing to do a ceasefire as long as we bring our hostages home. So I don't know what new conditions they're talking about. The conditions have been the same all along. Israel has to keep vigilant. We cannot let another October 7th attack from happening. And of course, we will have to keep guards and security in the important points, in the important entry points to Gaza. That was there all along. And so, again, these are excuses by a deadly terrorist group, a genocidal terrorist group that did the worst attack to the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And there's no other way to look at it, really. I feel terrible for the people in Gaza who they have put in this terrible situation. We want everybody to get back to what it was before, but we cannot allow a genocidal terrorist regime to rule an enclave which is on the border with Israel and threatens Israel every single day.
I'd like to get your thoughts on a recent article from Reuters that's titled here, Hamas and Israel blame each other for the ceasefire delay. It talks about Hamas wanting to end the war. They're saying they're demanding it to an end. Israel's saying it wants to end Hamas's rule of the enclave first to ensure it will no longer pose a threat. Do you agree with Reuters saying that Hamas and Israel are blaming each other?
Again, you have a country with law and order, with a democratic system, and with liberal Western values, and you have a terrorist group that uses their own babies as their own human shields. So I don't think anybody can make a parallel. We can't believe them. They've faked everything. They faked the numbers of people. that they say Israel has killed. They constantly lie. It's part of their MO because they are a genocidal terrorist group. They lied about wanting peace with Israel before October 7th, as we gave them 20,000 work entry permits into Israel. They lied about wanting quiet. They've lied about everything. So how can really we believe, again, a genocidal terrorist group and put them on the same level as a Western liberal country with law and order and a democracy?
We've got about 10 seconds to go, but finally, have you spoken to loved ones of the remaining hostages recently?
Yes, I have. And again, we're all heartbroken. And until they come home, this war will not end. And it is our moral duty to bring them home and do everything we can to bring them home. We will not start getting into healing unless they're home.
Fleur Hassan-Nahoum, thank you so much for joining us.